Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Michael Mode, and it's a pleasure to be here today. I'm going to be speaking about innovation and creative problem solving. Now, I've got a lot to share with you, so I thought we'd get started right away doing a quick brainstorming exercise using this pad of paper. Now, what do you see? A circle? Yeah, what else do you see? A ball? Yeah. See, this is what happens when I ask people, what do you see? People never say that they see the pad of paper or me or even the wall behind me. This is also what happens a lot of times when we're trying to solve a problem. We tend to focus too closely on the immediate situation, and we don't look around or think outside the box, so to speak, which is oftentimes where we can find the solutions. Now, I heard somebody say this could be a ball. It could be any kind of ball, but if I give you a little bit more detail, it becomes a bowling ball, exactly. Now, we just used our imaginations to come up with this drawing of a bowling ball. But the purpose of my talk today is to not just get us thinking in a new way to come up with ideas, but how to take those ideas and make them a reality. Okay, so I'm more than just an innovation consultant, I'm also a magician. And I work with companies teaching them how to think like magicians so that they can solve challenges they feel are impossible. And that's what we're going to be exploring today, how to think like a magician. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the history of magic and inventing. And then at the end, I'm going to show everybody how to do an interactive trick with your phones. So make sure you have one nearby. But, I have to say, when that bowling ball fell out of that pad of paper, the looks on your faces, that's why I love my job. Yeah, you see, being a magician is a lot of fun, and I think having fun is one of the keys to creativity. And with that in mind, let's try something fun with everybody here. Everybody here, everybody watching online, hold up your right forefingers in the air. Your other right hand, sir. Yeah, good. Now take your right foot and spin it in a big clockwise circle. Now, while you're spinning your foot, take your finger and draw a big number 6 in the air. Did your foot go the other way? See, I love when our own brains can fool us. Now, I know you're probably sitting there wondering, why should we learn how to think like magicians, right? Well, as things get more complex, more technologically advanced, oftentimes the problems, or challenges as I like to call them, that we're trying to solve can just seem impossible. Well, thinking like a magician gives you a whole nother set of tools to help you solve those challenges in a new way, with the mindset that anything is possible. Now, excuse me for just a second. I just got this jacket back from the dry cleaners, and I think they left a pin in the sleeve. Thanks. I'm not going to tell you how I did that, but I will tell you I feel a lot better right now. One of my passions is the history of magic. And the more I study it, the more I realize that magicians have always been on the forefront of innovation. Here's one of our first inventors in magic, Robert Houdin. He's the father of modern magic because he's the one who brought magic to the stage in mid-1800s France. Now, Houdin was a clockmaker who turned to magic and inventing and created what many people believe to be the first house in the world, completely operated by electricity. It even had an automated horse feeder and an alarm system. If you've seen the movie Hugo, you know a little bit about Georges Méliès. Méliès was a French illusionist who became known as the father of special effects for his inventions in the world of film. He invented stop-trick photography, the dissolve, multiple exposures. In 1896, Méliès invented the horror film genre, and he started a long legacy of magicians who would go on to make magic in movies. People like Orson Welles, Sam Raimi, even J.J. Abrams, to name a few. Now, J.J. Abrams even talks about how the power of mystery and a box of magic tricks that he got as a child have been a big inspiration for him in his works, including the TV series Lost. This is the legendary Harry Houdini. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that Houdini was also an inventor, as you can see from this 1921 patent he held for a diving suit that he created. Now, this is just one of hundreds of patents for non-magical inventions that were created by magicians. And here's a list of some famous people who you may or may not have known were interested in magic. Michael Jackson, Neil Patrick Harris, even Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple. A few years ago, I was invited to speak at Apple and talk about magic. And I got to meet with a whole group of people that work in different parts of the company, but they all get together on a regular basis to perform magic and discuss its possibilities. So, how do you think like a magician? Think like a kid. I'm serious. To a kid, anything is possible. They have that childlike sense of wonder, unlimited imagination, and that insatiable curiosity. Now, creativity is just about connecting things. And the more things you're curious about, the more options you'll have when making those connections and trying to solve those challenges. Another way to think like a magician is to imagine that the solution or the end result that you desire is already a reality. Now try reverse engineering it to see the steps that were taken to make it happen. Now, magic combines many different things: math, science, engineering, design, psychology, but the most important ingredient is imagination. See, magic ignores the rules of reality. Reality tells us what can't be done, but magic reminds us it can be done. Now, I wish we had more time together, but do you want to see one more thing today? Yeah. Everybody take out your phones. Everybody here, everybody watching online, take out your phones and open them up to the keypad like you were going to call somebody. I thought since we're here at TED, we would do something using the three components of TED: technology, entertainment, and design. The first part is the technology. Look at your keypad, ignore the 0, but think of any number between 1 and 9. Now take the number you're thinking of and multiply it by 9. If that gives you a 2-digit total, take the two numbers in your total and add them together so you have a single digit. For example, if your total was 14, you'd add 1 plus 4 to get 5. You have a new number in your mind. Now subtract the number 6 from that number. You now have a new number in your mind. Take that number, lock it in your mind, forget about everything else, and look at that number on your keypads. There should be 3 letters under your number. Take the first letter and think of a country that starts with that letter. Any country in the world. Take the second letter under your number and think of a wild animal that starts with that letter. Now think of the color of that animal. Now, you could have thought of any number, any country, any animal, any color. If I get this right for even a few of you here, there's about 1,500 people in this theater alone, that would be pretty good. If I do get it right, hold your phones up in the air so I can see it. How many people here are thinking of a gray elephant in Denmark? Look at that. Isn't that wild? Thank you. Thanks. Now, since we're learning how to think like a magician, I thought I would show you how to do this. Do you want to know the secret? Here's how it's done. Any number between 1 and 9, when multiplied by 9, is going to give you a total that also adds up to 9. 2 times 9 is 18, 1 plus 8, 9. 3 times 9, 27, 2 plus 7 is 9. Works with any number from 1 to 9. When you have them subtract 6 from that number, everybody is going to end up on 3, regardless of which number they started with. The first letter under 3 is the letter D, and there's only a few countries that start with this letter. Denmark is by far the most common. If this didn't work for you, you might have been thinking of Dominican Republic or maybe the country of Djibouti. That's a real country, and it is fun to say. To have them think of an animal, sometimes magic uses specific words to help guide the way a person thinks. This is an example. Rather than have you just think of an animal, I had you think of a wild animal, which will help guide you towards an elephant. Have them think of the color, and you've got it. Now, if you forget any of these steps, just visit grayelephantInDenmark.com, and we will have them listed there for you. Can I leave you with one last secret? Yeah, this is the real secret of how to think like a magician. You see, I remember when I was just a child, I was visiting a magic shop for one of the first times, and I was having a conversation with the man behind the counter, and I said, when I grow up, I want to be a magician. Well, he looked at me and said, you can't do both. Now, I, I thought he was just kidding, but later I realized how true this really is. See, you can't grow up and be a magician. Being a magician and thinking like one is all about keeping that childlike sense of wonder, that unlimited imagination, that insatiable curiosity. Now, the next time you're faced with a challenge, try thinking like a magician and make the impossible a reality. I'd like to thank all of you for your time. My name is Michael Mowat. I look forward to meeting you out in the lobby. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.